How's your day going? Because I know you've had a crazy day so far.
Oh man, so I like worked out for the first time. Well, I work out every day, but I went to the gym for the first time in 3 weeks, and I lifted for like 90 minutes. I also ran 7.69 miles this morning, at like 8:30 pace because I was trying to pass this other girl on the trail, and every muscle in my body is sore. So that's how I'm doing today. I also went to my friend's birthday party last night. It was pretty fun. Met a lot of actors and
Okay.
pretty cracked like entertainment people there. So that's what we've been
Seem
since we recorded the last episode 24 hours ago that we're scheduling to release out.
that seems like a, very opposite, let's just call it 12 hours, right? You went from partying with your friend, a nice chill
L-
party it seemed like, to lifting for the first time in a while, as well as running a crap ton of miles. I did not do that. I am not sore, thankfully. I have been researching, doing a lot of research actually around brands and like e-com because I think we've talked about it a little bit, but like my goal for the next brand or thing that I build to be able to live without me. And I think I kind of did that with
Mm, mhm,
Declassify, but I want a product, right? I really want to
mhm,
learn ads. And the reason I want to learn ads is twofold. A, I'm doing a little paid ad stuff for Handshake. So I'm like learning through that way. That's more B2B, less ecom. But also, B, we've kind of spoken about this on the pod as well. I wanna learn ads for the credit cards, for the credit card points.
mhm.
I want the credit card points. I want 1,000,000 points a year. I wanna just be able to travel business class and never have to worry about it ever again, as well as making money while getting these credit card points, right? So, those are the 2 reasons I've been really interested. The first question that I have, like, this is kind of the main question I've asked a few people who have built brands or are building brands right now, is twofold or is a two-part question, sort of. First part is, would you rather, Grace, build a brand that is based around a product and then try to expand that later? Or would you rather build a, let's just call it a broader brand? So to say, it could be a niche brand, but just a brand in general, and then launch a product within that. The caveat to
Mm.
that, though, is you don't want to build like a founder creator brand. So like we're not trying
Mm.
to build Strawberry Milk Mob, right? Because in my opinion, it's very hard for her to step out of Strawberry
Mm.
Milk Mob, right? But yeah, what are your thoughts on that question?
My opinion is I'd rather build an audience before a brand, like a brand meeting an audience before the product because an audience can help you validate products. So you don't want to go all the way to production, high fidelity, like all hiring engineers to build your SaaS tool or going to manufacturer to manufacture a bunch of things before validating it first. So having a community, having an audience helps you validate like prototypes. You can like vibe code a website and see what they think before you invest a lot of time and money into building the actual thing.
I agree with that. I think the one issue that I'm having trouble wrapping my head around at least is if I were to do that, right? How could I do that without building a founder-led brand? Because I agree with you, right? Distribution, I think is more important, especially when you're coming up with a product, because at least you have like a target audience, you know what they want, yada yada yada. I think that's great. But like, how do you build it in a way where it's not based around a personal brand? Like, do you follow any brands on social that are brand first? They sell something, but they were a brand for like, and I guess maybe Supreme at the very beginning, right?
Mm.
Wasn't really like a specific product. It was a brand. I could be wrong there, but at least my knowledge of it, it was just kind of like a hype brand. Do you have any
Honestly,
examples of that?
Labubu's.
But that's a
I
product though, right?
That's true. Potmart. I feel
Yeah,
like it's mostly like their fans talking about their brand. I don't really associate Potmart with anybody in particular.
that's fair. It's fair. Like my other thought was again, this is proving my thought process wrong because I agree with you. Like I'm kind of leaning towards the building a brand first and launching a product, but like how do you build a brand that's not a personal brand? I guess that's my
Yeah.
question on social.
Mm.
But like you know Cat GPT, right?
Yes.
The AI girl. I
Hmm.
forget, I don't know. Is her real name Cat? I would assume so. But
I think so. I just remember her Instagram bio saying that I married ChatGPT and took his last name.
yeah, which I think is great. She's great
Yeah.
at what she does, right? But she launched like her phone thing. Have you seen that?
Yeah, the invisible phone.
No, no, no,
Or
no, no,
oh
not
wait,
the
no?
invisible phone. That was like a she was doing like growth marketing for a friend. I think that launched
Oh,
that. She launched a like those old spin the wheel phones.
yeah.
She launched that, but like it Bluetooth and it connects to your iPhone or whatever. And so you can like theoretically use that instead of using an iPhone, which I think is smart, kind of gimmicky, but apparently she sold like a crap ton of these things.
Hmm.
And so like that proves building a brand first, right? Her building her personal brand and then launching a product out off of it works. But again, it's a personal brand, right? Like I don't think she could ever step away. Like I don't think she could hire Grace you, right, to be Cat GPT.
Hmm. That's literally
And
in
so
her
like
name.
exactly. So like I'm trying to figure out are there any examples of
Hmm.
brands that had been built not necessarily off of a personal brand? Tomester Paints is kind of like that.
Tony
Because
Tonster.
yeah, because like it is kind of a personal brand, um, but it's not founder content, right? Which I think
Yeah.
is a little bit different. I did find this brand. They don't really have a product necessarily. Let me share my screen. And I actually really like the brand. Why won't it let me share my screen?
I feel like if brands get bigger, for example, Notion, Adobe, Figma, I don't really associate them with their founders once they get big enough, though. Because Notion I feel like I see them tapping into community, so having like a community as a brand.
I think
First class.
Notion, yeah, Notion. So this is called First
Yeah.
Class Jerk, right?
Hmm.
Um, I absolutely love this. My friend showed me to this when I asked him the same question. It's basically like not necessarily a meme account, kind of like an informational account, but around luxury travel. But he kind of like pokes fun at it, right? That's why it's
Oh.
called First Class Jerk. Um, but like on the surface, seems like a brand, right? He does
Hmm.
kind of build it off of his personality, but when you're looking at it overall, it doesn't feel like it's built off of him. And so some
Mm.
of these videos are like a green screen about this some sort of luxury travel thing that is being launched. And then it kind of all leads to this overall informational page around luxury travel,
Mm.
which I really like because it's like more around the lifestyle, so to
Hmm.
say. And I think if he ever launched like a luxury bag, it could low key work if he wanted it to.
Yeah.
And he's
Oh,
got a
it's like
newsletter.
Summit.
Yeah, he's got a
Hmm.
newsletter with like 28K people on there. Um, which is interesting because let me see if this pulls up. Do-do-do-do-do. Like I thought this was an ad when I was going through this right here, but it's literally just an ad for him to get intel around like luxury lifestyle.
Mm.
So he's getting like inside knowledge about these sort of maybe like before something gets launched, like a hotel chain gets launched or an acquisition or whatever it may be. And he's getting these sort of insights,
It's
which
like a
I think
faceless
is
brand, kind of. Well, his
yes,
face is in there, but it's like the focus is not about him, but about the curation of these experiences he collects.
it's like the lifestyle, right? And he's able to get insights into this lifestyle, which the brand First Class Jerk is able to share out to the community, right?
Mm. Hmm.
Anonymously, which I think is really interesting. And then their website, I wonder how much money they make. I don't know. And their website is very like luxury and mysterious. But apparently it seems
Mm.
like they work with Amon, Ritz Carlton, the Raffles, Ponnet, Delta, Red Carnation. These are all very luxury brands, maybe besides Delta. Uh, but these first few are. But if you go to
Hmm.
their about, they got services. And so like media publishing, custom content, creative strategy, community, industry, digital, like these are all things that apparently they do. And wonder, I didn't look them up on LinkedIn yet. see. Gonna do a live search.
Yeah.
This is an
Do live reaction.
exclusive, right, for these
Ew.
Spotify and YouTube listeners who are
Mm-hmm.
watching us,
We're sharing a
right?
screen right now. You could also click in and see the screen.
Uh, so here's Adam Lovick. I love this photo. This gives very
I
him
love this.
vibes. Okay, so he used to work for Gary Vee. That makes
Ooh.
sense. He lives in New York, still flies coach. That's so funny. But his whole content is about luxury travel.
Wow. It's like so niche. I guess it's not that niche. I feel like everyone can
But it's
relate to
not,
that.
right? Because it's like luxury. But I think it's
Yeah.
niche in terms of the audience that understands it,
Mm-hmm.
but it's not niche uh, for the aspirational side.
Mm-hmm.
Because a lot of people aspire to be able to travel like this.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I think I saw this one. This one looked interesting. Okay. We made a video about a hotel, reached 4 million people, and never stepped foot inside. That's hilarious.
Wow.
I've still never been there, and this isn't a one-off. We've had multiple examples like this. This is interesting. So I assume they do this for these brands.
Mm. So they just
Because
like
he
promote their
goes,
hotels.
yeah, this is from 2024. Since then, we have more than 20 examples similar.
This is
Love this
basically repurposing
breakdown.
videos?
I think he's just taking photos, right?
Like,
Like
true.
if you look, he's just green screening like
Oh,
this
and
one.
just talking about it.
Yeah. It's just a photo. It's
Hmm.
the, like, what are his most viewed videos? Like, okay, this one, 1.2 million views. These are probably either just provided from the brand. I mean, these are great photos. He probably
Mm-hmm.
finds them online or whatever.
Yeah, or provided by the brand.
Yeah. Yeah, I wonder how this
Wow.
works because it doesn't look like sponsored, but
Mm-hmm.
it seems sponsored.
Yeah. Maybe like not all his content's sponsored because he wants to stay authentic to his audience.
Yeah. But it's interesting. Like
Mm-hmm.
asking celebrities their favorite hotel.
It's like literally creating.
Oh, he's literally like DMing people. I feel like you
Yeah,
get
wait,
to
so
that point
fun.
where people respond to you, right?
Yeah, that's kind of funny. I I should do that. Asking celebrities. I don't think that would sponsor me though.
I mean, you could do asking founders, like just get a bunch of
Yeah.
like quote unquote rich founders or rich creators
Yeah, I'd probably
around
get them to
whatever it may be.
respond. Mm-hmm.
But yeah, this is like this. I'm thinking I'm not gonna say the niche that I want to go into, but this page is a really good example, I feel, of building a brand outside of a personal brand.
Yeah, it's lovely. It's like I feel like his face is still there, but he's like doesn't have to physically be there and just like make video talking about it. And I don't associate this page with his face.
Exactly, and it's very low lift content.
Yeah.
Like he's just literally just green screening,
Hmm. Yeah, that's
which I think
cool.
is fascinating. But
What kind of you mentioned you didn't want to mention like what niche you wanted to do for like social commerce?
yeah, I don't want to say what niche. I've been doing a lot of research in terms of the product, and it is in a space where there has not been any innovation in it at all. Like I was watching, um, I listened to an episode of My First Million where they interviewed the guy who created like Ollie, the supplement like gummy. brand.
Oh,
And like, he's
mhm.
created like a bunch of those, like not Ollie, but like a bunch of different e-commerce brands. They say like Target loves him because Target always like picks up his product and it goes crazy. And the way that he does it is like he goes around and tries to find something that just looks like it hasn't been innovated in such a long time, essentially. And there's this one product, I low key may have talked about it on the podcast before. I'm not sure, but I'm not going to say it today, that I've been thinking about, and I want to build the brand around it. And I've been trying to figure out what the strategy to build that brand is. That I want it to be kind of low lift as well. Um, but yeah, some ideas. But once I start cooking, I'll talk about it on the pod, but not
Hell
not
yeah.
today.
Yeah, wait, how do you go about finding brands that haven't been innovated for a long time?
Just like looking around, right? So this specific one, I want to build an elevated version of it. That's why I'm also looking at like that's why first class jerk is really interesting to me too. But my thought process is go around what still looks boring that sells, that if you added a Gen Z twist, a millennial twist to it, it would go crazy. So like for instance, I think that same guy created like fancy band-aids, right? Because
Mm,
band-aids had never like it had always been the same, right, before, right?
mhm.
The standard, like, brown little thing that's supposed to not be able to be seen, but, like, you clearly see it on everyone's skin tone, even if you're, like, that perfect shade of brown, right? So he created that Band-Aid thing. With Ollie, right, if you say vitamin D, nobody has any idea what vitamin D means, yet every single supplement label at that time said vitamin D or, like, ashwagandha or whatever it may be. So what he did with Ollie was, like, he just put immunity or he put sleep. So you knew exactly what you're gonna get from this gummy. It wasn't about what was in it, it was about the effects that it would have on you, right? And so that's why Ollie kind of really popped off. And so when I took a look at that, I was like, "Hmm, what in this world do I see that sort of needs innovation?" And I found this one product and I started doing a little bit of research on it of like, okay, are there any luxury versions of this? No, there's not. What are the versions of this out there? They're all kind of just like cheap loss leader type of products. And clearly they sell because there's businesses that do it and they're picked up by like nationwide, like big chains, everything from like Target to Walmart, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. It is a CPG brand or CPG sort of like thing. Um, but there's literally like there's no sexy version of it, if that makes sense. And now I'm trying to see if I can build or if I should build a brand around it or not. So we'll see.
Exciting. How are you going about your research? Just like talking to people, internet, searching?
Yeah, literally just hitting up all my friends that I think are really smart in the branding or e-com space. Like literally just got off a call with Tony right before this call. Was talking with Xander as well because he's starting to build out a company in the space as well. I think he talked about like the honey stuff, right? I think
I don't think
the when
so.
he
He
was on
talked
the
about
podcast.
I remember he talked about having like a course for like TikTok Shop and helping TikTok
Oh,
Shop
yeah, yeah,
creators and things.
TikTok
Yeah.
Shop, yeah, yeah, yeah. So he's also building out this new product as well, and he's talking to me about how he's thinking about brand and everything like that. Talked with my other friend, Leanne, who's really good at, like, paid ads and, like, the CPG space. So that's how I do my research is, like, hit up my smart friends. Yo, what brands are you paying attention to? Kind of like what we do on this podcast, right? Like, what creators are you talking or are you paying attention to? Because our networks are so vast and everyone else touches other people, and that's how I get my knowledge. My first million's a great like starting point as well, and I think that's why people pay attention to this show too. But when it comes to research, I just hit up my friends because I think they're smarter than me, and they help me start going down some of these rabbit holes like first class jerk and stuff like that.
Yeah, same. Same. Talking to people.
It's the best way to
So,
scale yourself, right? Like in my opinion.
yeah, that's why at conferences, at Tech Week events, there's always so many panels. S- This is something random, but I hosted an event called No Lame Panels because we're tired of. Oh, I have this. I don't have hate against panels, but most panels suck. Like,
Agreed.
dude, yeah. It's always like people circle jerking and talking about how good they are and just like raising themselves up and then giving like one generic take, probably generated by ChatGPT prepped. It's always like, it's everyone on panel always say AI won't replace humans, but humans using AI will. The secret to growth is authenticity. Yeah.
Like,
And
wow,
I
groundbreaking.
know. I know. And they talk about, oh, imposter syndrome. Everyone deals with it. It's okay if you feel that way. It means you're growing. Every single creator panel. And that's why, like, I kind of gave up on listening to panels. But sometimes they're good. Like, I would say, like, 1 out of 69% of the time, they're good. Um, like, I like it when they argue and they put people who have opposite views, especially in political views, and they talk and they argue. That's like the best. It's like entertaining when they offend someone or they offend the audience and they raise up they raise their hand. The audience says they're offended. That's good. That's good. But most times it's too generic. So that's why like I also approach events by talking to people. Instead, I don't really listen to the if it's like a panel going on, there's people talking in the back. I will like go in the back and talk to them instead of listening to the panel because I already know it's gonna say some generic stuff. No offense, like I also speak on panels when I get asked to. I also volunteer to speak on panels too, and I always try to give spicy takes. Like I don't talk about myself. I try to just like give the audience what they want instead of like hearing other people circle jerk and talk about how good they are. Um, Anyways, a little tangent. I know we talked about like LA Tech Week events, but talking to people, getting the insights, that's how you make the most of your events when you go to these creator events. Most of the time, no offense to anyone, I know sometimes they're probably just nervous and a lot of times they're speaking in front of a big audience, so they don't want to say the real tea that offends people. But I think you can really learn deeper by talking to friends. Even like on podcasts, like it's really good to like go deep with someone, but you go really, really deep by like talking to people individually. um, yeah, but no hate to anyone on panels. Like, I honestly think they do it because it's such a huge audience. They want to stay politically correct. They don't want to offend anyone. They don't want to say real stuff. So, yeah, no hate to
Yeah,
anyone.
I think for me, panels usually, like, the bigger names on the panels, the worse it is, right? Because they have a lot more to lose if they say something too spicy or something like
Mm-hmm.
that, right? And so for me, I try to like, if I'm actually gonna listen to a panel, which I'm like you, I don't listen to many panels to be honest. Like at
Mm-hmm.
events, I'm there to meet people. That's where I'm gonna get my ROI. Like all the information on most panels, I should be able to find online or like it'll get recorded, right? But the few panels that I do like are, to your point, when they are kind of pitted against each other, which I think that's just good entertainment. I don't know if it's good value, but it could be good entertainment, right? Or if it's someone who's just a nerd about that topic. Like,
Mm.
those are the people that I will listen to because it's like they are going super deep and it might only have like 5 people in that audience, right? But those 5 people are gonna get information that you actually just cannot find on the internet. And I think it's very hard to find those panels like that because to your point, a lot of people are just doing it. I think most people do panels for either they do it because their company tells them to do it, right? And they don't wanna say anything bad, which again, no issue with that. Go get your bag, right? Respect. Number 2, they're trying to sell you something, so you're really not gonna get that much value, right? Because the real value is in quote unquote the thing that they're trying to sell you. So again, no shame on that. Respect it. Understand that grind. I've done that before. Get it. But that third group, those nerds that are out there that are like super, super deep into like if I see a panel that's like how I made $10,000 selling ants on the internet, I'm going. Like I'm going to that one. Because there's something there, there's genuinely a nugget there that I can pull back into this podcast, right? Talk to you about it that I know will get my ROI worth on that. But if I see how AI is gonna change the world, I know it's gonna be the same thing about the next panel around AI, right? So those I could care less about.
Yeah, I'm just a little jaded from. I love events. Don't get me wrong. I love events, but I don't like boring panels. Sometimes like I'm on my phone and doing work, and then I feel guilty because people like confront me about that sometimes.
Look, most people aren't made to entertain a room, and that's okay. And that's
Mhm.
okay, right? Most people don't know that, but that's why I like trying to study. What do I study? Comedians. When it comes to like
Mm.
when I was doing public speaking a lot more, I love trying to study comedians because if you can work the room like a comedian does as a public speaker, then you're in a really good spot. But again, most people, that's also why teachers are bad at teaching, right? Because teaching is great. Like there is a piece of teaching where you need to be and understand like your knowledge of whatever topic that you're teaching. But there is an aspect to it where you need to understand how to entertain and keep your audience engaged. And a lot of people don't know that. But
What have you learned from studying comedians? How do they work the room? When you what do you
so like
observe?
I forget what the rule is, but or like what it's called. But every time I find like let's just say I'm talking in a big room, right? Let's just say 50 to 100 people, and it's, like, big enough where I can make sort of, like, 3 specific looks out, right? I can look out center, I can look out, like, right center, and I can look out left center, right? Most people, what they do, they might just look at one spot. They don't move around the stage, right? If you're not moving around the stage, it's very like, you're gonna likely lose the audience because there's not much movement. The same thing with social media, right? That's why there's so much movement on social. But what I try to do is, like, I'll move to the left side, and then I look at one specific person on the left side. Like, I make eye contact with that person, and I always make eye contact with that one person I pick, figure out who it is, but I make sure that that same person throughout that whole talk. And then when I'm looking down the middle, I do the same thing. And when I look down the right, I do the same thing as well, right? So I'm always looking at the same person, and for some reason, because you have a focus on something, a lot more people feel that they're looking at you, that you're looking at them. Just how it is. Don't know why it is that way, but that's just how it is. And on the odd chance that that one person that you're looking at is like someone that's really important, they feel special, they might come up to you after and be like, they might feel like they know you a little bit more because you're making eye contact with them. And who knows if that leads into a deal rather than if you weren't, if you were just kind of like staring into space the whole time. So that's one thing. Um, and then the other thing is I try to crack a joke in the first 5 minutes, and usually within the first 5 minutes, I can tell uh, how that speaker section is gonna go. If it doesn't hit, then I know it's an L. But if it does hit, then it's usually gonna be a good talk.
Mm. Yeah, walking around, making hand movements. I like making eye con yeah, I need to take that advice, like, making eye contact at people and cracking I crack too many jokes sometimes. Sometimes it doesn't land well, and then I feel shy. I like
The other thing that I like to do too is like callbacks, right? So to make sure people are paying attention. So let's say I'll say like in the first few minutes, I say something, I'm like, I'll be like, make sure you remember that or something like that, right? So then later in the presentation or the talk, I'll bring that back up of why that's important so that they're constantly engaged or they're like think they have to think back to that. And then if that hits, then the next time that I say you need to remember this for later, they're gonna want to or they're gonna need to remember that for later so their brain like locks in basically. So that's also like another
Mm,
retention thing that I do
mm,
while talking.
mm. Yeah, I was
And
talking to
like
Stephen
comedians
He
do that a
yeah,
lot actually too. Comedians do that a lot.
like, referring to, like, a joke in the past, like, 10 minutes ago, and yeah, cause like, I was talking to Stephen He from, YouTube, about, like, how he goes about script writing, and he always, like, measures the amount of laughs per minute, and he tries to optimize the amount of, like, laugh attempts he can do, and the more laugh attempt, the better the video is. And I was talking to some more comedians and, like, stand-up, it's all about, like, framing, like, giving specific examples, like, really, really relatable specific examples of what the audience is going through. Like, I watch so many comedians on cruises, because they have so many comedians going on, and my best comedians I liked were people who made fun of cruise ship goers, because we all seen them, all the buffet people, all the whale, they call them whales, all the Q-tips, like the old white people. um I just like love the crude humor. I know it doesn't sit well with a lot of like white American people, but I love it. My mom loves it, And yeah, and then like one time, like there's this comedian, forgot his name, but it was like dark in the room, and then whenever someone come late, like walking down the aisle like late, um, everyone he like pointed at them, and everyone had to like cheer at them, like just like yay, and like they were like so confused, and that was like so funny.
That's insane. Q-tips is crazy. That is a wild.
Holland
That's
America,
hilarious.
Holland America is like the old cruise line, old white people. They're called Q-tips. And
That
like
that's
he
crazy.
would he was like, I looked out and I saw a sea of Q-tips when I was on Holland America.
That's funny. I've never heard that before. Um, but yeah, right. Like I think when it
and
comes
and dead
to
seals. Like he walked in the pool and I was like, there's a bunch of like whales here.
oh, I mean whales. I definitely heard whales before. That
Yeah,
that
but
that makes more
Q-tips,
sense.
Q-tips. And
Whales
then
is
like
crazy to call someone whale
ever
live as well.
ever since then, like so my mom, she speaks on cruise ships for a living now. She's a retired professor. And whenever she refers to Holland America or like old white people, she calls them Q-tips to me now because of that
Oh my god.
comedian.
Look, like I think right when you're a comedian, when you're doing any sort of stage performance, right? It's all about how do you make that one person in that seat have a moment that they remember for their life, right?
Hmm.
For you, that
Q-tips.
comedian, when they said Q-tip, right? You've kept that for the rest of your life, right? And so for better or for worse, right? Like that's what I want to do. That's the mentality that I go into when it comes to speaking. I don't think a lot of people care about that, which again, fine. But just know you're probably boring when you talk. There are a lot
Hmm.
of boring people when it comes to talks, unfortunately, uh, which sticks, right? But the question is, would you rather be Gordon Ramsay, a really good chef that everybody knows, or would you rather be the number one chef in the world that nobody knows? And that's just kind of the difference between if you understand how to storytell and like move a room versus not. There's not necessarily a right or wrong answer. I think both
Hmm.
options are great, right? But just depends on who you want to be.
Yeah. And then if and everyone can always work on their speaking skills. Like it's always room to improve. Like just because your name might not be as engaging now doesn't mean you'll be like that forever. So it's good to like get feedback and improve and practice. You got this.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. All right, I know you wanted to talk about some UGC stuff. We can talk about that real quick.
Yeah, I found some like interesting UGC portfolios. I feel like I found Momi UCG and Charlotte UCG. There's so every time I search, there's a whole not cult. There's a huge ass community of UGC creators. I can just share my screen too. I'm gonna pull up some. There's even UGC Creator Academy. Like I know a couple episodes back we talked about creator courses, like Ali Abdal's part-time YouTuber Academy. There's a Creator College that teaches you about Instagram growth, run by June. Are the two like big ones right now. Um, and then there's all UGC popping up too. Like as you mentioned in the last episode, like creators who make UCG sold over 200 billion products last year alone from UGC. So it's like huge industry right now. And there's a lot of creators making content about UGC, like how to become a UGC creator for UGC creators as a UGC creator. So yeah, it's pretty cool because like what's unique about it is like people don't have to have a lot of followers to make a lot of money. So I'm gonna pull up some examples of interesting portfolios I've seen, and we're gonna like review them. So let me share my screen.
Let's do it.
I literally found these three people by searching UGC on TikTok, and I looked at some of their videos, and they talked about how much money they made. Um, I looked at about I have the numbers to pulled up that I can reference. I looked up. I just like literally found them organically on my For You page. Let me share my screen. Does it look all right? Okay, so this
Yeah.
is this is Mia. So Mia has about 20,000 on Instagram, 20,000 on TikTok, and she made six figures in 6 months. And her portfolio, so like this is her Instagram, TikTok, pull it up. She's worked with a lot of clients. Like these are really great big companies. And Instagram she has like 21K. On TikTok she has 25K. So she has about 50K ish total followers, but she's made like over 100K, like six figures in 6 months without a million followers.
Insane.
And yeah, which is really cool. And this is like it doesn't really seem like she focused on any like specific niche. I see like Canva, like design products, staples, and it's like a lot of like she talks about her stats, collecting testimonials. So if you're a creator doing brand deals, ask for testimonials,
Wait, are you
paid
moving
ads.
your stream right now? Because it's not moving
Oh,
on this
oh,
one.
I am. I'm scrolling down. Or is
Oh,
it?
I still only see the Mia,
Oh, that's
like that
strange.
beginning page or the
Let
beginning
me
screen.
stop presenting and present again. You see me scrolling now?
Yes. Yep. Yep.
Oh, okay. So she's worked with a lot of clients
Yeah, that's a
and
ton.
she's done like 2 to 6 times return on ad spend, generated 200 million in sales, and she's
That's
doing
crazy.
about 70 plus paid ad scripts a month. So that's like 2 or 3 videos a day. And she works with these are all like if you click on them, they're all examples of videos she made, and they're pretty good. They're pretty like relatable. Um, so these are all like paid ads that she's run for other companies that they have like ad usage rights. These are like organic UCG where she put it on her own account. Like also like a lot of creators can just like make videos without having to post, which is another way to make a lot of more money if you don't have that many followers. So she also does like organic, focused on like beauty content, a lot of brands. These are like testimonial, review, trends, haul, get ready with me, trend, product launch, unboxing, lifestyle. That's how she showcases these brands to build up her portfolio. And there's so many videos. So, trend, testimonial, demonstration, lifestyle, ASMR, even ASMR is one. Also like furniture, home goods, trends, street style, aesthetic, demonstration, street style, food and beverages, so stop motion, lifestyle, trend, taste test, testimonial, pets, even, or testimonial, educational, testimonial, trend. So she like, categorizes her videos. There's so many like different niches in here, different categories, how she categorizes her UCG content. A lot of tech and wellness too. Unboxing, a lot of testimonials, a lot of before and afters tend to sell pretty well. Even in-person events, going to in-person events and like doing like street interviews and dances and stuff. Beauty, even restaurants and trends. Like literally like has like the narration trend is like the man's voice and like this is Mia, she blah 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 blah, and it's her using her product. Um like hop on the latest social trends, and she's yeah, it's pretty cool. She has also an app called Creator Vault for creators to review brand experiences, ask questions, report scams. So it's like a glass door for creators too that she's focused on. So this is like probably the most impressive UCG portfolio I've ever seen. She's just photography too. Like most impressive portfolio of UCG I've ever seen so far on my scrolling.
Yeah, I mean, this is insane. I haven't seen like a built out portfolio like this before. I would say that's what's missing from a lot of UGC creators. Like now being on the brand side and like trying to source for UGC creators, it is really hard unless you know people in the space. Like it's easier for me because again, I know a lot of creators and people that want to create content like this. But like talking with my team, they're like using different softwares that are out there for like sourcing and things of that nature. And it's like really hard to find good quality UGC creators out there. I would say my word of advice for anyone who's thinking about something like this is I would niche down at the beginning. So like I would focus on tech or travel or products or whatever it may beauty, right? Whatever it is at the very beginning, because then you have your set list of companies and products or whatever types of videos that you can do. And then you can start to branch out the same way that Mia has, and then you can kind of just do everything. But I would do that at the very beginning because I always like the route of build authority within a niche and then use that authority to go into other niches. But yeah, I
Mm-hmm.
mean, Mia's website is pretty impressive. I would probably hit her up for some Handshake stuff if I ever needed it.
Yeah. Let's see what niche she started with. Actually, let's see the oldest video she's done.
I mean, how many videos does she posted? We might be scrolling for her.
Oh,
Or can you
you
sort
can
from
see
oldest?
you can do orders. I wonder how on TikTok you don't know how many videos you posted because on Instagram, like I noticed like the post count here doesn't correlate to reel count because she has a lot of reels that are probably like not showing up in the main feed.
Oh, I see, I see, I see.
Yeah. Um, but let's look at TikTok. I think she posts. It looks like she posts more on TikTok. So let's see the latest ones. The oldest ones actually. So
Like, what are her views like, right? Because are these all UGC videos that she's posting? I assume she's just giving it to the company and then they're running ads on it.
that's true. It seems like some of them, like on her website, like the paid ads are just giving to the company to do, and then some her organic ones, I assume it's what she posts for her channel too. This is like such an impressive portfolio. Like it looks like she started with like protein bars, health, wellness, um, well beauty. It seems like she already started as like lifestyle niche, like health, skincare, food, wellness, like kind of like things
Yes.
that people buy to like feel better about themselves or like improve their health in some way.
Yeah. If I'm honest, the way that I would go about it if I were to do UGC is like, okay, what are the people that look like me, sound like me, are creating around? What do their videos look like? Do I want to compete with them or do I want to go into a different niche and compete there? And that's always a different battle. Like where do you want to compete, so to say? But I think that should always be a conversation when you're looking to create, especially UGC content, because there is a lot of competition out there. You just have to figure out how you can differentiate yourself and then start breaking down some of those doors with cold emails and things like that.
Yeah, when I started UGC on TikTok, a lot of like millennial women actually, a lot of like 30 plus, 40 plus year olds, a lot of like they're all women, like
Yeah, I
literally
mean,
like white or Asian.
women are the
Yeah.
ones that buy, right, on social. So
Yeah, like literally I just searched UGC on like top TikTok page. Yeah, like literally like everyone's like Asian or white. That's like most LA parties too. Oh, there's like a man here. I found a man portfolio too. Like it's there's also a man UGC. But it's a lot of like just looking at the demographics
have
because
you
a
made
lot of
UGC
women buy.
content?
I've made UGC. I don't know if this counts, but I made UGC for like Adobe, Figma, like me using the tool. So yes, I have. I actually used to do UGC when I was 16 on like running and health and wellness products back in the day when I wasn't paid. But
Yeah,
I don't know.
I've
It
done
seems
some
like a good
UGC
hustle.
stuff.
Mm. Yeah,
I mean,
it
I
seems
think it's a
like
good
pretty
side
chill.
hustle.
Yeah, it's a good side hustle. I want to get into it more too. But a lot of UGC brands, they honestly like I get a bunch of cold emails from brands because I started adding my email on my LinkedIn, on my Instagram. Like for example, Coursera through an agency, they wanted to pay me $200 a video, versus Coursera themselves as a company, they pay almost $2,000 a video. So I feel like a lot of UGC, there's so many agencies that reach out, but they pay like literally 10%. Then, at least in my experience, if you work with the company directly.
I mean, I think there's a difference. I would say there's a difference between UGC and influencer stuff. So in my mind, UGC is mainly for either ads or for uh a brand's page, organic page. When someone is, in my opinion, when someone is asking you to post on your personal profile, that is no longer UGC. That's influencer stuff.
Uh,
And I think that's why if they're asking you to post on your page, I think that's why Coursera or you can justify a $2,000 with Coursera versus if they were genuinely or if they were actually doing UGC and they're just using like for a paid ad or whatever, typically those are less dollars. I think the most that I've been able to negotiate a UGC deal was hmm, I want to say like 12 or 1,500 bucks, maybe at the most. And that was because I was asking for like rights, for ad uses rights and all that sort of stuff. But I would say most UGC deals are probably 200 to 750 if you're really good or if you have
mm,
like experience. And again, 750 is not bad, right? Because if you can do two or three of those a week, then that's what, 2250 a week if you're doing 3, and then 3 times or 2250 times 4, that's like almost 9 grand a month, which I mean, that's a lot of money for a lot of people in this world. Even if you're just doing a few, right? Like a lot of people out there, that could probably double your monthly income if you can figure it out correctly.
Yeah, that's true. What's the 1,500 deal you did for UGC?
Can't remember, but that number sounds right. I know I did. How much did Adobe pay me? No, that was influencer stuff for declassified. I think it was, we were paid, actually, we were working with a nonprofit who had a lot of money at the time, and they paid us, I want to say $1,000 a post, but for 60 posts or something like that. So 60 grand in total,
Nice.
or it was like 1,200 a post or something like that. And so it
Mm,
was like white labeling, like UGC, but white labeling. Um,
mm-hmm.
but yeah, that was a lot of money, right? Like on one deal. And I think that's where the real money comes, is when you're able to lock down longer term deals like that. Because I think it becomes just a grind if you have to go out there and try and source 3 types of videos every single week. I mean, you've done that, right? Like, imagine if you had to go and source just brand deals for 500 bucks, 700 bucks. I think the ideal world is you start by doing that stuff, but then eventually those brands wanna come back with to work with you on, like, more long-term strategies and things like that.
Yeah, that's how usually it starts. Like, usually brand would contact me initially. We do a couple of trial like videos, and if it does well, then we do something long term. Like
Yeah.
usually brands wanna, but in advertising, you need to see something 7 times in order to buy for consumers then. So it's smarter to I've seen more brands pitch me like 3 videos, 4 videos, like on my first contract with them too. So, because you can't like just show something once and expect the audience to buy. You need to show it multiple times and people will see.
Yeah.
It's
I
psychology.
always try and get as many as possible because
Mm-hmm.
one-offs, again, the conversion on that, especially if
It's
you're
not.
posting it onto your own stuff, is very tough to get that to work. But and I usually tell this to brands where I'm like, hey, I'll do it for you for one post. It's going to be this amount, which is likely a premium, but just know that the results likely aren't going to be amazing unless this video just completely pops off. And some brands are like,
Mm.
yeah, that's fine. You'd be surprised at how many brands are like, "Yeah, that's fine, actually." I'm like,
Mm.
"Okay, if you wanna burn your money, burn your money." I'm not gonna say no, right, to money, but I always just try to set expectations so that I can negotiate again for a second round or a third round.
That's true. Sometimes I charge, especially if it's a company I really want to work with, I would give them like a special price and overperform so they work with me again.
Mhm,
And it has worked.
mhm. Exactly, exactly. So,
Yeah,
alright,
crazy.
is
I'm
there
curious, like
anything else that you wanna talk about, like
as
UGC-wise?
Handshake, at Handshake, how do you look for UGC creators? What do you look for? What is like green flag and red flag?
I I go to my friends because I know that they're good at what they do, or I can trust them, to at least create a decent video. And I think that's where what people don't understand in the business world is when you're just very busy and you've got a lot of stuff on your plate. If you can just reach out to people and ask them to do this thing for you, and you have a budget to be able to do it, and they're okay with that budget, more than likely you're going to go with them,
Mm-hmm.
right? And that's almost anything in the business world. And some people say that's right, some people say that's wrong, but at the end of the day, if I can find quickly, like, I think we wanted to get 3 UGC creators, and within 2 days, I had a list of, I think, almost 10 people that were down to do it for the price that we were offering. for it, that beats any agency or thing that we can spin up. Like, it takes so much time to onboard to a website and then put out your post or whatever it may be, versus if I can just go out and ask some people like, "Hey, you have any recs of people that might be down for this?" And if they're getting referred to me by my friends, then I'm down to take a flyer on them. So,
Mm.
and again, it's
Yeah.
not like we're spending thousands and tens of thousands of dollars on like these UGC posts, right? So it's not a huge risk. If we were spending a lot more money on it, then I'd probably do a ton of more due diligence or like really dive into it. But it's a smaller spend. We need a quick turnaround. So I'm gonna go to the people that I know and I trust and see if anybody's down for the price.
Mm. What are the average prices for UGC that you guys have been pricing, if you're allowed to share on the pod?
Handshake, I would say, um, trying to think, what are the prices that we're doing? We're on the lower side because we're not looking for specified stuff. So I would say low hundreds or so.
Mm.
Um, but I think you get into the higher numbers for two ways. One, you become super experienced, right? So you have a large portfolio. And again, a lot of the people that I'm working with on the UGC lens, they're not like they don't have like they're not like me with like a huge UGC portfolio. Um, but also too, the other way is if you're like very niche and it's like you know how to create content around this, or like you're looking for a specific thing. And so like for this campaign, we're looking for people to create content around um like being a business owner and like for Handshake ads. And like that could be anything as long as you look the part, right? So we weren't looking for specific demographic or any specific type of tone or anything like that. I think once you start asking for those things, that's when, or when you can ask for those things, that's when you can up your price a little bit more.
Mm. I see, I see. Makes sense. Yeah, because I feel like a lot of UCG is just like quick turnaround, mass produce, not mass produce, but I low key like there. Okay, there's this other company called Cloud Kitchens, started by my friend. Their strategy is to create virality. So they have a lot of TikTok accounts they have that will make a lot of content for your startup, and these TikTok accounts will be like ABGs and ABBs, um, and it will create the illusion that everyone's talking about your startup, and I think it's by bots. And I feel like everyone's talking about your startup. Then real people will notice that, oh, this must be important, so they will start talking about it. Um, I feel like a lot of UGC is not kind of similar. I feel like it's like a lot. I feel like a lot of UGC campaigns I've noticed that people reached out to me are like for a tight deadline and trying to flood the feed with that stuff. I've been a part of some campaigns where it's like 1 week deadline, trying to flood your feed with that kind of stuff. So it makes it like go viral and it goes viral. But there's like another company that does it like with AI.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's stuff like that. I think there's also Mr. Beast, I think just launched like a clipping company, right? Which
Oh.
similar to Clout Kitchens, but not really. Like it's just more around clipping. But the whole purpose of it, right, is to make it seem like people are talking about your brand or your podcast or whatever it may be. So you're starting to see this strategy like pop out and become business models for some people. I've even talked to some friends that are like thinking about creating clipping agencies and stuff like that. And so that's an interesting world. I think again, go and get your bag. I think this is if you do research in the space, you can easily make a very quick agency and get really good ARR in probably 3 to 6 months if you go hard at it, especially right now because of just the timing of everything and people are looking for these services. And it seems like people would pay for it. I personally wouldn't pay for it for some of the prices that I'm hearing, but some people do clearly because people buy the service. Trying to think, I was gonna say something else about UGC, but it's slipping my head.
What prices were
Um,
you think hearing about clipping agencies?
like I think I saw a place that was like 2,500 a month for 5 posts a month on like 10 different profiles or something like that,
Hmm.
which that doesn't seem like good ROI because, in my opinion, you're probably gonna have to pay $10,000 to get good virality potential there, unless like the clippers are amazing and like your talent is amazing in the videos that they're clipping. I personally wouldn't pay that. I was thinking it was gonna be like $1,000 a month, and I someone spins up 10 profiles, and those profiles will post, I don't know, 3 times a week for you. So you're essentially getting, what is it? 10 times 3, 3 a week, 30 posts a week around just random clips of your podcast or whatever. I think that's worth $1,000 in my opinion,
Mm.
because all
Mhm.
you need is a few
Yeah.
of those to pop.
Mhm. Like, we've been trying to clip our
2,500.
podcast too, for free.
We have been, right? But we haven't like spun up like the different profiles and stuff like that. I think that's a lot
Not
of
different
work.
profiles. That's a lot of work.
Yeah,
I'm trying to just, like, spam not spam, but I curate
yeah.
carefully the clips that we post on our Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok, which you should follow.
I don't know.
Yeah,
Would you pay 2,500 for something like that?
mm, to automate it for me, I'll try it once to see how it goes,
Oh,
but
no, for like, let's say 2,500, you get 5 new profiles for Design Buddies, let's say, right? And each of those posts 2 times a week. So
honestly,
you're
like,
getting 10 posts a week.
it feels like it's from, like, a I feel like TikTok people don't really check the profile, though. It just creates the illusion of virality.
Exactly, I mean, again, that's the
Mm.
whole point, right? Is the illusion.
Yeah. I feel like I kind of cracked like the code of people posting about us on LinkedIn organically already that I don't feel the need to pay for virality. I feel like I'm pretty confident at like hosting a live and then getting people like at least 10 people to post about us on LinkedIn about summarizing the live all right on LinkedIn. So it make us seem well we are very important, but it's like that help a lot of people's all student communities like discover us from that. 'Cause I feel like I wouldn't pay for it because I think I could just do it on my own for free. I'm very Asian. Like, I'm very frugal.
I mean, I agree, but some people out there aren't, and if you wanna start up a clipping agency,
Now's the
well,
time.
now's the time. So, anything else that you wanna talk about? I think that's it, though.
I think that's it on my end.
Yeah, I think I'm good. Great episode. We'll talk
Yeah, good
again,
stuff.
next week.
Yeah, sounds
Alright,
good.
appreciate y'all. Peace.